Welcome to this Hartford Showcase event on Hartford TV. I'm Don Morris and Ray Ruse. We're at Fallston High School and just about to honor our country with our national anthem. Well, welcome into Fallston. What a beautiful night for girls soccer. Ray Ruse, tonight we've got two teams playing each other, rivals, both 1A teams. We're talking Patterson Mill Huskies, the visitors, and Fallston. You look at the record, you look at Fallston, that's 4-1. You look at Patterson Mill, 1-5. You look at the teams they played together, that's Delaney, the common opponent, where Delaney walloped Patterson Mill, and Fallston beat them 1-0, 4-0, the loss to Patterson Mill. What I'm getting at is on paper, you would think this would be a blowout for Fallston, an easy win. Just throw your hat on the field and you win the ball game. We know it doesn't happen that way.
I want to thank our rec escorts for helping us celebrate this evening. And a special thanks to our sideline ball runners, the U11 Fallston Hurricanes.
Which means they've got to put some new people in there that have to step up. So it takes a game or two, but these two teams should be there when we come to the end of the season fighting for the 1A championship.
Yeah, you look, there are both 1A schools, as you said, and you look at the past for Patterson Mill. Mike Parker been there since 2008 as their coach. They've been to the state finals 4 times, lost 3 times to Sparrows Point, and then in 2019 won it when they played against Lock Raven. Sparrows Point mercifully moved up a class so they didn't have to face them. So they have a tradition of success. And Ray, you said it, they don't shy away from playing the big, tough schools during the regular season because they know it gets them ready for the playoffs.
Well, I admire that about both coaching staffs. Now that it's the open playoff format, why have a non-league schedule that's easy? There's really no benefit to that other than giving other players playing time. You'd rather go to the playoffs, test it, and then know. Now you go back to saying Sparrows Point. Well, they were 1A champions many years. Yeah. Sparrows Point is one of the top teams in the state of all levels.
Oh, yeah.
So that's not anything to, look badly at it, losing to them 3 times.
Fallston led by a first-year head coach, John Salbeck, but John is anything but a first-year coach. He coached at John Carroll, he coached at Curley, he coached at Pipeline Soccer Club, so he's got great experience, and he brings that kind of competitive attitude. Now, Fallston is a young team, only 4 sophomores and 1 freshman, 3 juniors on their starting lineup. We're underway here. 40-minute halves, the white-clad Patterson Mill, the visitors, the orange-clad Fallston, the home team. Fallston going from left to right on your TV screen. Patterson Mill going from right to left, and we're underway. Battle at midfield. We'll give you those starting lineups here when we get a moment. In fact, let's take the moment right now for Fallston. Elia Jello, number 2, and Catherine King. They are the forwards. Abby Richard, Ella Litz, Sarah Forelli, and Ruby Riddell. They are the midfield, along with Ava Lambros. And then Hayden Mills, Hannah Richard, and Addison Rees across the back line. The goalie is Leah Reinhardt. Leah, who has 40 saves this year in her 3rd year playing goalie at Fallston. So the Cougars are stacked, even though, Ray, they're a young team. Patterson Mill, their starting lineup. Their forwards are Hayden Price and Julie Thomas. Kelsey Price, Ava Wheeler, Julianne Bujak, and Maya Pantazelis are the midfielders. Hillary Poling, Madeline Woldersick, Woldersick, Abby Wysong and Addison Harmel. They are in the back line. And then Caitlin Welker, the senior, 56 saves. She's been tested this year. She is the goalie.
One thing you'll notice about Fallston's lineup, Don, is they play Ava Lambros, number 14, at like a very aggressive stopper or a third central midfielder, which I'm looking forward to seeing if she's there more for support or if they do like kind of a pinwheel type of thing with the 3 center middies where they can play off of each other.
Boy, a nice crowd here tonight on a beautiful night. It is a key game. Someone said to us that this could be the state championship game. It sounds weird to say, but they're just great 1A teams. And who knows what might happen in the playoffs, but we might see these two teams playing again in the playoffs.
What you hope doesn't happen is that they get matched up against each other early in the playoffs.
Yes.
Now, I will say, unfortunately, they will be in the same region, so only one of them will be able to escape their region representing 1A. But I love what Pattersonville does. Coach told us that one of their state championship year, they lost and tied a bunch of games within 1 goal. But they're playing against state powers like Seamount Wright, Bel Air, Fallston and others. That just makes them better.
And folks might be surprised. Fallston, which had been a larger school, maybe a 3A at one time, down to 1A. They came down last year to 1A, and they are 1A. Again, if you don't know the situation, the state divides their teams into 4 levels. 4A, those are the big schools. Then 3A, 2A, and 1A. 1A, the smallest of the schools. The trouble with being 1A, Ray, is you still have to field football team. You still have to field all the other teams that the bigger schools do. So the number of athletes you have to choose from is somewhat limited.
But if you look at both schools, they are well represented across many sports.
Absolutely.
Being successful.
Yep. Well, here we go. Fallston on the attack. Looks like Fallston has dominated early in the game. Tested right away is Caitlin Welker. Kate Welker, again, we mentioned 56 saves. She's going to be under pressure today. And we saw Mike Parker, her coach, testing her before the game. I tell you, if I'm her, I said, Mr. Parker, give me a break, because she's diving left and right. And, Mike getting her ready for the game today. Just about 36 minutes left in this first half. We do play halves, 40-minute halves. No score. Neither team has really had a serious threat at this point. Happy you could be with us here on Hartford TV.
People don't know this. Most high school games are now on turf, and Hartford County is blessed to have so many great turfs. And for those of you that aren't soccer players, it is a different game. You do not want the ball in the air. You do not want high balls. You want to possess the ball on the ground as much as possible.
Boy, what a great facility, too. We're talking about the scoreboard, which we'll see here at one point in the game. $38,000. There's a chance. Nope, good play by the goalie Welker. Just put it into operation today, Ray. The boosters here at Fallston raised $38,000 to install this new scoreboard at Fallston.
That's wonderful.
It is. You look across the field, you'll see some of the signs of the sponsors that provide money to make the program go. You have so much that the county gives you in terms of the field is paid for by the county, but then and the uniforms are and the other expenses. But other expenses are covered by booster clubs, and Fallston has a great one.
This is another example of the sophistication of soccer that wasn't there 30 years ago. The teams are so confident they'll play the ball all the way back to the goalie's feet and then work the ball up from the back.
First whistle we've heard tonight, Danny Vest, one of the referees, and Ryan Sapp, the other one. We both know Danny Vest from days gone by, a Bel Air High School baseball player and soccer player, graduated in '79, had a nice conversation with Danny before the game. Dusk setting in here at Fallston, and pretty soon the lights will take over, so it's just a beautiful night. Maybe
that was a nice move.
And that ball is going to be over nice save. Welker is able to bat the ball over the net. That ball was hit right on the button.
That was an outstanding pullback move there.
When you say pullback move, what do you mean?
So the defender thought she was going to go to her right, the defender's left, and she faked that way, pulled the ball back with the bottom of her foot, touched it to the left.
Ray corner kick, and again, as you know, this is the opportunity.
Oh, that was
right
dangerous.
there. It was there to be hit.
That was a very good ball.
Put it right in front of the net. You notice how she was able to curve the ball around and get it right in front of the net.
The only thing that was off on that is the timing of the 5 or 6 players that were bunched up that were breaking in. They weren't quite there yet. They'll work on that. Coach will point that out.
Looked like I'm trying to see it looked like number 14 who put that ball. That was Ava Lambros that you were mentioning before. She's the young lady who put the ball right on the goal mouth. That's Lambros who was able to knock the ball down and keep it in Fallston territory.
Good chance here.
Fallston is aggressive. You can see they have scored a lot of goals. And if Patterson Mill has an issue, it is scoring goals. They've scored just 6 goals all year against 18 against them. They've been shut out 4 different times. Mentioned they lost in the last 5 seconds to North Hartford the other night, 4-3. Lost in double overtime to Harper Tech. The only game that they've won this year, speaking of Patterson Mill, they defeated Northeast of Cecil County by 3-2. Fallston has defeated Winters Mill, Arundel, Delaney, and Hartford Tech. The only game they lost was their opening game of the year. They lost it 1-0 to Hereford. Ray Hereford is one of those schools in northern Baltimore County. Small school, but always good.
They're good in a lot of sports, and they're involved with a lot of rivalries with Hartford County powerhouse teams.
North Hartford in particular has been a rival through the years. Well, the ball has been dominated by the Cougars, as you see. We're just about 8 minutes into this game, 32 minutes left in the half.
You are seeing a little bit more aggression out of Fallston, as you mentioned, and that's giving them a better chance to possess the ball. Let's see what kind of cross we can get here.
That's Addison Rees, the sophomore, number 20, with the ball. If you're Patterson Mill, you want to hang close. Keep the game close, and then, let's see what you can do late in the game.
Yeah, every minute you stay tied or within a goal, it builds your confidence. Right now, I'd like to see the defenders in Patterson Mill step up a little bit harder with the ball. They're letting the forwards gain possession.
Right, girls soccer compared to boys soccer, it's one of the sports that's almost exactly the same. The rules are, very, very similar. Here comes Lambros with a chance, just misses that corner. Boy, what a nice job by Lambros.
Very good.
Ava Lambros, the second-year player, just a junior.
Defender gave her just enough pressure not to get a clean strike on that ball, though. And then her only angle was to the far post for a perfect shot.
And Kate Welker, the goalie, did a nice job cutting down the angle. Kate Welker is senior. She's been in that goal mouth for Patterson Mill for most of her career as a high school player.
It is a lot tougher to also lift the ball for a shot off the turf because you don't have grass propping it up like a tee. So when you have free kicks, you're not going to often see the high arching cross.
That's a good point, Ray.
And you know what, Don, they say, that's why those corner kicks are important. Just a deflection, a piece of the body on the ball, anything, because an ugly goal counts as much as a pretty goal.
They certainly do. That was Lambros with the ball. You're talking about Patterson Mill with injuries. They've got 4 of their players, many of them starters, not here tonight, not playing because of various injuries. Talking to Mike Parker, he is saying it's weird this year. Usually it's knees. This year it's ankles. We'll see how that affects the stamina of the Patterson Mill players.
It's a tough ball. Goalie needs to come out.
Good job, Welker. Welker has been under pressure already.
Next time they have a corner kick, I want to see what the team taking the kick does to the goalie. Because what you want to do on a corner kick is you want to legally impede the goalie. You're not allowed to push them. You're not allowed to grab them. But you do want to kind of get in their way the proper way.
First time we've seen the ball touched by Leah Reinhardt, the goalie for Fallston. Leah, a junior, 40 saves. She's in her 3rd year of playing just as a junior, so she was playing as a freshman. Big boot coming back the other way. That was Abby Wysong, the sophomore for Patterson Mill.
She's trying to put that ball through, Don, and it's very hard to do that with the turf because the ball is fast. When you put that same ball through on grass, it'll die for that forward to run onto. So that was a great anticipation by the goalie. Goalie cannot lay back on the goal line there.
Well, this Lambro, she has been all over the field. We talked about her being in a special situation, playing like the fifth midi, if you will. There she is with the ball again. Great center. Anytime you cross the ball, Ray, that's when danger zone comes in. Get somebody to strike on the ball.
A good goal scorer can just deflect the ball. That's all they need to do is change the direction. See what kind of service we get here. That's a good one. Just behind forward there.
We're now about 12 minutes into the game. 28 minutes left here in this first half. No score as you see. Don Morrison, Ray Ruse, happy to be with you at Fallston High School. Had a chance to talk to our good buddy Dave Wren. Dave's the super volunteer here at Fallston. He graduated in 1997 and he's never left the school. He's here every time I come to Fallston. He's here, just one of those guys you love to be around. And I don't want to give him too much attention, but Tom Dixon, the PA announcer.
Yes.
Wonderful job. I say that because I think he's vying for my job. Just kidding. No. Tom said that Dave Seski conned him into being a volunteer PA announcer, and that was 12 years ago.
Yes.
He's still announcing for Fallston. No kids in the school, you know, just doing it because he loves it.
Definitely got the voice for it,
Yeah, he
doesn't
does. Does a great job.
Athletic director Chris Hoover would normally be here, but I think his boys, varsity, is off playing a game of their own.
Isn't that amazing? Yeah, the athletic director who's also the head coach of the Fallston boys team.
And they're a very successful team too.
Yeah.
Both the boys programs from these schools are very good. I mean, Wes Rich has done a great job for years at Patterson Mill, and Chris Hoover also has done an outstanding job with the boys program.
Yeah, we mentioned Wes Rich, his daughter Naomi Rich, who's a senior, one of the people who's hurt here tonight, not playing. So that certainly is a tough mark for Patterson Mill to absorb that loss.
And I'm so old, Don, that I've coached some of those people. Chris played for me years ago.
Addison Harmel, Alexa Parkinson, Naomi Rich, and Abigail Schertzer. Those are the four players for Patterson Mill who are not here tonight because of injuries. Some, you know, long-lasting. Some, hopefully, they'll be back soon.
So that was a good job of Patterson Mill to wait for numbers, because they basically had a 1-on-3, then a 2-on-4. So they were waiting for supporting midfielders to catch up to them there. They were one pass away from getting a good possession.
Yeah, first time we've seen the Huskies on real offense here tonight. Boy, that's a nice give and go.
Should be right back to the middle.
Hayden
good
Mills.
defense.
That was a nice play. Looked like 17, Addison Harmel, who made the play, taking the ball away. Hayden Mills looked like a clear path to the goal. You're saying it was 13?
Yeah, it was 13 there.
Yeah, Madeline Woldersick. In that four-person backfield for Patterson Mill, going to be in a lot of pressure because Fallston is a high-powered offense.
Well, that's another change, Don. Back in the way, way old days when soccer first came out in our area, you put your three biggest strong kicking defenders in the back, even if they didn't have speed and skill. And now it's four fast, skilled defenders back there, which makes for low-scoring games and makes it really hard for the other team to score.
Well, that is a very good point. You're right. You put the big, heavy, sort of intimidating guys back there. You know, if you came in the goal area, you're going to suffer because they're going to lay you low. Welker up and making the save. Now, Welker's not a big young lady. She's, you know, on the smallish side, but just shows to go that you don't need to be necessarily large. You like to have that person with a wide wingspan, but, you know, if you're quick like she is, you can get the job done.
That was a very good cross. The Fallston players got a knee on the ball, just hopped up just slightly too far for them to lock it into the goal. And once it did hop up, keeper was right on it.
Moving the ball, Hayden Mills. Taken away by Patterson Mill. See if they can get together an offensive surge.
That's a ball. It was a little bit long, but let's see if she can possess it. Let's see if she can save it.
Julie Thomas trying to possess the ball. Julie, a senior. Two freshmen, one sophomore starting for Patterson Mill.
If Fallston scores the first goal, I would not be surprised if it is on a cross, because so far they've had a lot of really good crosses. Just going to take the right block into the goal.
Ray, we're almost halfway through the first half. There's two things to say. One, yeah, Fallston's had the pressure, so Patterson Mill has been, under the gun. On the other hand, you got a bit frustrated at some point. You've had the ball, you've had chances, you haven't scored. So, does it get mentally kind of start weighing on your mind that, hey, we're just not able to score here tonight?
Keeper, you got to call that ball. Yes,
Walker
and
coming
the thing
out.
is, it's definitely a game that lends itself to one team, Patterson Mill, could commit more people to the back 2/3 of the field, which makes it tougher to get good pathways and so forth. In a sport like lacrosse, you have to have a certain amount on each side of midfield, and obviously football is 11v11. But the thing is, even though this is 11v11, one team may decide we're not going to give them much space in the back 2/3 of the field. And so far, that's what Patterson Mill's been doing.
Yeah.
Plus, and the counter to that is when Patterson Mill has gained possession, they haven't had many players up on offense.
Very good point. And it may be that the strategy that is being employed by Mike Parker is, as we said, keep it close, and then once we get into the latter part of the game, if it's, 0-0 or one goal apiece, then now we have a chance. If we try to play them, personal in person,
right,
we might find ourselves down early, and we certainly don't want to do that.
Well, it's like it's very similar to basketball. Are you going to try to run and gun with somebody, or are you going to play half-court zone defense? And right now, it's more like Patterson Mill's playing half-court zone defense.
Yeah. Doing it very effectively.
Very well, and that's the important thing here is, you're right, keep the game tied as long as you can. Now, if a team gets down, that's when they change.
Offside is the call. And again, that's a controversial for some people. With me, offside in soccer is one of those calls that, a purist would say, we need to keep offside. I'm saying, hey, if you want to send 5 people down offensively and risk the other team having openings offensively, to me that would open up the field. It's not a popular view with people who are soccer, aficionados.
Well, the thing also here is that's why it's so important at the high school level and the high club level that you have very good officiating, because it's very frustrating. We should get a shot here.
Well, that was a nice settle and shot. Trying to pick up a number on who that young lady was.
So for those that are newer to soccer and understanding it, the defenders, when they see an offensive player coming downfield, preferably a midfielder, getting ready to send a through ball, sometimes they'll step up, which means they all move forward in hoping that they get the player in an offside position.
Yeah.
Well, sometimes a team can be really good at that, but at lower levels when the officiating isn't as good, they'll miss that, and that's very frustrating. But these referees are outstanding.
Yeah, and you have to be, as a referee, in shape because you're running up and down the field. You're only 2 referees on the field, and you're covering 120 yards. Folks don't realize that the soccer field is 120 yards long, with the goals on the back line of what is the football field. So it's a lot of ground to cover for players, but especially also for referees who may be a little older. It gets to be a little bit tough.
Maybe that's why I'm not refereeing anymore.
Yeah, good point, yeah.
I might not like that running
I
anymore.
like those referee things where, we're talking about Cheryl Silence the other day in our volleyball game, who was the up official. Yeah, I mean, you can stand there, but that has to get tiring, too, to be in that up position the whole time.
Yeah, she was standing for a good 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see what happens here.
Good
pass.
job by Patterson Mill to be able to, again, to withstand. The ball stays in bounds.
Wow, she's got to get the ball other side of the field.
Nice play there by Patterson Mill.
She's looking for help in the middle there, Don. She didn't have anywhere to go in the sideline.
That was Sarah Mueller, by the way, the sophomore, number 11, who did the job, one of the subs coming in for Patterson Mill. Patterson Mill has a small squad. We talked about the JV. They only had 10 players. They played with 10. Fallston, and I'm not sure, Ray, maybe you know the rule, they agreed to play with 10.
It was a very sportsmanlike move. They did not have to. They could have played with 11, but they were very sportsmanlike in saying, we'll play with 10 also.
Yeah. And it was an 8-0 win for Fallston, so they dominated the game. They could bring in substitutes because they had about a 15-person squad.
Yes.
So Patterson Mill, again, being one of the smaller schools, being beset with injuries. We talked also to Mike Parker. He brought up 4 freshmen this year to play on the varsity. So, You know, if you're the JV coach, you say, "Hey, Mike, thanks."
I've been there, and that's again, when you mentioned a smaller school having the numbers to field all the different sports, soccer, field hockey, football, cross country, golf, etc.
Yeah.
It's difficult. Cheerleading, it's difficult. So, but if a player is good enough to be on varsity and contribute, they're going to be on varsity. I've actually seen some schools not have enough numbers for a JV.
Absolutely.
In those cases.
Yeah, we've seen that happen. That was Julianne Bujak, number 9 for Patterson Mill. The Huskies getting a shot, and it's good for 3 points, but in this game, it's just long. But that was a nice shot.
I think that was number 11 again.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, that's the young lady who came in as a substitute, Sarah Mueller.
Number 19, Tabitha Macy.
There you see Kate Welker. Sarah Leah Reinhardt. Leah hasn't had a lot to do yet, the goalie for Fallston, because she really hasn't had a shot on goal yet. Leah does have 40 saves coming in. We mentioned they lost to Hereford, did Fallston 1-0 in that first game of the year. Beat Winters Mill 3-1, Arundel 4-1, Delaney 1-0, and Harper Tech 1-0. So 2 shutouts for Reinhardt.
Harper Tech has a good squad too, so it's a good win.
In for Fallston, number 19, Delaney O'Malley.
One thing people also don't know about strategic coaching, or some people don't know, is you may see the club that's trying to keep the game 0-0 sub more often to kill some clock.
Yeah.
And you often teach your players, take your time going in and off the field. Every second we can eliminate from this clock is our friend.
I was going to say, Kate Welker a few moments ago caught the ball on the left side, our near side, and walked it all the way over to the far side very casually, and then put the ball back in play.
Yes.
Exactly what you were mentioning. Not only that, but of course changing the perspective of the attack.
Now the referees will allow for, they really can't do a whole lot about subbing often during the game, but in the last minutes of a game, if a team's winning 1-0 and they're trying to kill the clock, they'll warn the coach, and then they'll even consider adding time on.
Again, no real, let's say, point-blank attempt, a chance for a goal. Fallston has certainly had a couple of opportunities, but we're now just about 16 minutes left here in this first half with no score, as you see.
Lamberth again?
It certainly is. This young lady has been everywhere on the field. Number 14 we're speaking of.
Yeah, I've had the fortune of seeing her play for years in some futsal and some other. She's very good. Mother's very involved with the program and running the programs and coaching. People, we praise these high school coaches, Don, and we should, because regardless of whether they're paid or not, they're doing this for the love of the game.
Oh, absolutely.
But all the youth coaches that have put so many hours into these young ladies to make them be as good as they are goes unsaid.
Ray, we were talking to Paul Metzger today. Paul Metzger, the legendary soccer and basketball coach at Edgewood back in the 30 years between 67 and 97. He had a young man named Bob Frisch on his soccer team, and Bob would tell you, probably not the best soccer player on the field, but he made such an impression, did Coach Metzger, on Bob Frisch, that there's a shot, Welker lets it go, that here we are now in 2022. Let's go back to 1973 when Bob graduated. They have remained such close friends over the years. Paul has been a mentor for Bob throughout his life. And now Bob Frisch will be one of the Hall of Fame members added to the Edgewood High School Hall of Fame come next Thursday a week. So just one of those stories you mentioned about a coach and his impact on a player. It goes well beyond just that few hours he spends on the field. It can be a lifetime.
Don, I've been fortunate enough at multiple sports to coach championship teams and this and that, but that's not what fuels a coach. What I'm fond of is the fact that I have 50 of my former athletes on my phone who call me, text me, ask me for advice, and many others, and that's what you appreciate is running into your ex-athletes and them giving you a good handshake or hug and saying thank you.
Oh, yeah.
That's what it's all about.
In the formative years when kids are finding themselves and
Yes.
they find somebody who they know really cares about them. 13 minutes inside, 14 minutes now, about 13:30 left in this half.
Now you see what they did there, Don, is Patterson Mill was packed in, and Fallston was realizing there was no passing lanes in there, had a little bit of trouble, so they pulled it back, and they reworked it, and they drew 3 or 4 Patterson Mill defenders into the middle third of the field, trying to give themselves a little bit more space to do something.
Well, nice header there,
Yep.
keeping it into the Fallston attack area. We just give Patterson Mill so much credit. They have bent, but certainly have not broken. Approaching the 13-minute mark now. Come the Huskies, taken away by Fallston. Patterson Mill has had the answer every time so far. It was Elia Jello, number 2, the senior with the ball a moment ago. Jello headed for Shenandoah College next year. Has a goal and 2 assists on the year, does Jello.
Nobody pressuring the ball yet.
Yeah. Everybody packing it back in.
They really want to get that ball to Lambros in a one-on-one.
Yeah.
I would not want to defend her. She's not only skilled, but she's got some speed too.
Back in for Patterson Mill, number 3, Aiden Price. And number 8, Julie Thomas.
Coming up on the 12-minute mark now left in this half. 30-minute halves, I should say 40-minute halves, excuse me.
Grace Daly.
Notice how she's taking her time, no hurry. Nice strategy on the part of Patterson Mill. Like in football, we have a running attack, and you can shorten the game by keeping the ball on the ground, picking up first downs and keeping the other team's offense off the field. Here the offense is on the field, but if you can, keep pitter-patting the ball back. Dangerous there.
Nice drop, though.
It was.
You don't want to turn into the person on your back because they have a very good chance of stripping the ball from you.
Kelsey Price, number 2 for Patterson Mill.
I remember when there was a time, Don, when your coach would yell at you, "Why are you passing it backwards?" And now you see so much drop passes and building the play. It's part of the game.
But it takes great footwork, great knowledge. You make a mistake and you set the other team up. But if you do it well, as you said, it just frustrates the other team's offense.
Well, I love all sports, Don, but I love the fact that in a sport like soccer, you have to always be thinking 1 or 2 plays ahead. So when that person's getting that drop pass, they put themselves there to get the pass, but they've already got to know who they're passing to, and is that person in a good position to turn and find another pass.
Yep.
I call it linking passes when I coach a lot, and that's what soccer is. It's basically a gigantic game of keep away until you have a better chance to do something. Little scrum in the middle there.
It's Kelsey Price, number 2 again, making a great takeaway.
Good
Patterson
shielding.
Mill.
That was good shielding by the left defender. Dropping it back to the keeper.
Notice the keeper that time, Reinhardt, instead of picking the ball up, kept it in play because she didn't want to slow down the momentum of her team.
Right, and you also, in soccer, if your teammate makes a deliberate pass to you, you can't pick it up. You have to play it with your feet.
Yeah,
so back when I was playing, goalies weren't great with their feet, or at least most of them. Now goalies have to have good footwork as well as being great at saving the ball.
Collision there, and the referees, one of the few whistles we've seen tonight. Very cleanly played game. Ball will go to Patterson Mill. Here you see Danny Vest. Little FaceTime for Danny.
Don, goalie is the only position I never wanted to play.
Yeah, it's like, when they say, who wants to play goalie? And then you're like in the 5th grade, we didn't know the answer. You tried to hide behind that big fat guy in front of you.
Well, it's definitely the sport that takes a lot of the position that takes a lot of guts.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen goalies get kicked right in the face, stepped on, their hand pushed into the post.
And it's like you're the last line of defense. So
Right.
if the goal is scored, everybody looks at you, and the goal is scored on you. On the other hand, if you're like Reinhardt, she's been back there sort of twiddling her thumbs, and hasn't had many shots on goal. And pretty soon there'll be a shot come out of nowhere, and then she's got to be ready.
Well, you hear different things about sports, like what's one player that can dominate a sport as much, and you hear goalie in ice hockey, starting pitcher in baseball, but even in soccer, even
Quarterback in football.
quarterback in football, yes,
Yeah.
one really good goalie can keep you in a game.
Yeah. A nice move here by Fallston. They just haven't been able to put together a complete attack, and that might be because Patterson Mill, again, packing it in and just playing great defense.
And back to the goalie, Don, I've coached hundreds of games where in some of the tough losses, some parents would go, "How did you lose that game 1-0? What did we do wrong?" Nothing. The other team's goalie just stopped us. There's nothing you could do about that.
And also about a sport like field hockey or soccer, sometimes the goals, as you said, are the ugly goals that happen to somebody slips down and the ball is open and you're able to put it in the net. So, it's like baseball where you get that little bleeder that gets through the infield. Yeah, you didn't hit it hard, but it still looks like a line drive in the scorebook. Fallston again on the attack. Inside 8 minutes, 7 minutes and 30 seconds and counting left in this half.
Yeah, Fallston wants one bad. They want to go in with putting the pressure on the other team. Patterson Mill would be very happy with the 0-0 tie.
Yeah, Welker again, and notice how she's changing the angle, going from one side to the other, taking her time. Senior goalie, so she's seen it all, if you will.
Well, what's neat about sports right now, Don, is a lot of these athletes, they play club ball with each other. So you could have a soccer club that has girls feeding 7 different schools in the county. So sometimes the goalie will know the tendencies of some of the players they're facing, and that's important.
You're right. Soccer is one of those sports where you don't come out and just start playing it as a 9th grader and you're good at it. The skills that are involved in this game are so refined that unless you have played 5, 6, 7 years as a youth league player, it's not going to happen for you. Here comes a chance, maybe the best chance so far. There's a shot, and yep, Johnny on the spot there, or in this case, Leah on the spot. Leah Reinhardt making the save. That's what we were just talking about. You sit back there and you don't get a play, and all of a sudden, man, it's one-on-one, you against the player.
Well, everybody did everything right on that play. The girl shooting it really didn't have time to look at the goal. She knew where the goal was, so she turned and struck it. If she would have tried to look up or make one more touch, she would have never got the shot off.
Yeah.
So she did that. Now, the one thing I am noticing both ways here is a lot of soccer players love to lift the ball on their shots. Upper 90, they call it. You know, how great the upper 90 goal looks in the corner of the goal. Well, really, the toughest ball for the goalie to save is the ground ball. If you hit a hard ball low on the ground, it's harder for a goalie to dive down than it is to dive sideways or diagonally up.
Yeah.
I say that as a person that can't play goalie.
And would never volunteer to do that.
But I've coached many goalies that, they know they don't want the ground ball in the corner.
Well, goalies are a special breed. You talked about it. Some people say they're a little bit, different in terms of their attitude, because you have to have that supreme confidence.
Right.
And that sort of, I'm in charge. Because you're the only person facing forward like that, and you can control your offense and tell people which way to go and so forth. Almost like a catcher in baseball.
Oh, yeah. Who wants to be run over at the plate like they used to?
Yeah.
But goalies, they're definitely the bravest.
Yeah. All the skills that they possess. There's a little push.
A little feisty there.
Right in front of Danny Vest. And
Yeah.
Danny says, no, we're not going to allow that.
That's the second tangle up those two had. Looks like it's getting a little personal.
Because Abby Wysong putting it in play for the Huskies.
This needs one more ball to carry it to the box. Nope. You're looking for a back header there, Don, because it's really hard to receive that ball. She maintained possession, bounced off the defender.
Good play there by Watersick. Watersick, number 13, Madeline Watersick.
That's a good ball to the middle. Now what you're doing is switching fields, taking it from one side to the other. She needed one more person to show her a pass there, Don. When you're bringing the ball out under pressure, you don't want to see people's backs. You want somebody to face you and say, put it to my feet.
A nice kick there by Reinhardt to put the ball past midfield.
Good spin.
Fallston looking for the opportunity. Coming up on the 3-minute mark left in the half.
That was a good trap by the Patterson Mill forward there. It was a tough ball.
Almost. Boy, good defensive play by.
Fought it back. Drop pass here.
Patterson Mill's most concerted offensive possession of the game.
One more to this side is what you want there.
That's Bujak, number 9, with the ball. Patterson Mill still in possession. A nice carry. Turns and gets a long shot. Maybe you're looking for that bad bounce. It's happened.
It looks like Patterson Mill is having their outside backs overlap and become a forward as soon as they get possession up there. But that's good, but it's also only leaving 2 girls in the midfield. So Patterson Mill girls are having a little bit more problem maintaining the possession because Fallston has many more girls in their midfield.
Madeline Watersick, number 13, really playing a nice game for Patterson Mill. Inside 2 minutes now, minute 54, and counting left in this first half. Here's Ava Lambros. Good header. Inside a minute,
steal.
30.
He's trying to serve that ball through 2 defenders to 1 forward. They're probably going to need to show a little bit more patience in letting a 3rd or 4th player join them on the offense.
It's Lambros with the pressure. Boy, nice job of centering it.
Oops.
Patterson Mill says, hey, we'll kick it out of play and
we'll
live to fight another day.
That's right.
Well, that was a great job by Lambros. It looked like that the defender had her hemmed in, but she was able to center that ball. Fortunately for Fallston, nobody was there. There you see that $38,000 scoreboard. Just installed today, hours before this game.
Wasn't it nice of them to do that right before us?
Yeah, they knew we were coming.
Yeah, they did.
The only thing is they don't say welcome Don and Ray. That's the only thing that I haven't seen. It's just Cougars.
We'll let that slide.
Yeah, it'll be okay.
Number 20, Addison Reeves takes the field for the Cougars.
Great job by the Fallston Boosters. Cougars looking to get that goal just before half. That could be a deflating goal if they could do it.
They have a corner.
Looks like our second corner. It looks like Lambros will take it again.
So with only 50 seconds left on, you're already seeing Fallston sending up an extra defender into the attack and maybe even another one, and their goalie's out a little bit further.
Notice how Fallston has all their players. You can see there's nobody at the goal. They're going to crash the goal, and he never gets it in play. Tried that little hook shot. Never got the bend on it.
Yeah, you should see Patterson Mill take their time on setting this ball up. They do not want to give Fallston even one more possession.
20 seconds left here in this half. Looks like that's the way it's going to end at 0-0. This half been a real battle. Fallston dominating the offensive possession time. But the combination of Welker, the goalie, and that great defense by Patterson Mill has kept it scoreless. 2 seconds, 1 second. That's the horn that ends our half. Our score 0-0. You know, some people, Ray, when they look at a game like this, they say, hey, nothing happened.
Right.
Boy, what action we've seen both sides the chances that Fallston had, Patterson Mill there every time, having the answer to this point.
So my friends that aren't as knowledgeable about soccer, they'll say exactly what you just said. And I say to them, well, you do have things in other sports like turnovers in football, and if somebody makes a great reception or a pass in football, people go, did you see that catch or pass? Well, the same thing happens in soccer. There have been some very good plays defensively, and there have been some very good moves. I really like some of the moves Lambros has done on the right wing over here, but nobody's struck a very good shot yet.
Yep.
But they're shooting from generally the 30-yard line and out so far. We're going to need somebody to get a closer shot.
Ray, you may have noticed there just a moment ago, they did put our name on the scoreboard. Yeah, it was there briefly. I saw it. I took a picture of it. Hey, hope you're enjoying this game. Don Morrison along with Ray Ruse. We're at Fallston High School. It's the Fallston Cougars trying to make their record go to 5-1 against those Patterson Huskies who'd like to improve to 2-4. We'll take a little break. We'll come back with the second half. Don't go away. We'll be right back. Back to Fallston High School. Don Morrison, Ray Ruse. Ray, an interesting first half, no score. Fallston certainly dominated. They had a couple of pretty good chances, but in truth, neither team has had a really good scoring opportunity yet.
No, they haven't. But one thing that I did notice is first 25, 30 minutes in that game, Patterson had no opportunities on offense, hardly. And in that last 10, 15 minutes, they actually got 3 or 4 shots off and a couple good possessions there.
Well, that's a very good point. And it may be that strategy, if that's what Mike Parker, the coach, and Brad Crossley, the assistant coach, wanted to do, and that is to sort of tire Fallston out, get them a little frustrated, and then, go offensively after that. So if that's what they were doing, that certainly did work out. There you see the Fallston team, coached by John Selbeck. John, again, we mentioned Archbishop Curley graduate and also a graduate of Stevenson College where he played soccer. So he certainly got his team playing well. Yet at this point, 4-1, looking to go to 5-1. They have to be a little bit frustrated, Ray.
Yes, they do. And Fallston has had the numbers up front, but almost too many defenders and offensive players in there. It's been crowded. But one thing I'm looking to see Patterson Mill do, Don, is they're getting more offense, but will they commit 1 or 2 more players to the offense once they get a transition? They kind of need the support in the midfield to be able to keep the ball in their offensive end.
Well, you noticed on that shot the very few numbers for Patterson Mill. They don't have a big squad. And again, 4 of their players not able to play today because they're injured. So certainly they are up against it, against a very talented team, Fallston, playing on the road and playing shorthanded in terms of their entire squad. Well, they switch around, and you see Fallston going now from left to right, and the Patterson Mill Huskies going from right to left. 40-minute halves. And Ray, much as our truck crew really loves it, we have a prospect of overtime right now if nobody scores.
That's a good service. Oh, just missed it.
Yeah. Right away, we see coming out with a good opportunity.
It's always dangerous when the person can serve the ball from the goal line, because then they can actually diagonally drop it a couple yards, which actually helps your ability to get a strike on the ball.
Talking about Patterson Mill, who had very few opportunities in the first half, they'd certainly like to turn it around. Fallston with the ball, again going from right to left. Cougars in their orange home uniforms. Nice little hook shot. Didn't quite get enough bend on it. Good job there by goalie Welker. You notice, Ray, she cut down the angle. There was absolutely no chance that ball was going to sneak in that far post.
Well, it's great when a goalie reads what their defender's doing. So the defender had the inside basically taking away the near post. So she knew she had to go far post.
It was Abby Wysong, number 16, kicking that ball away. Ray, you made a good point. It's hard to get under the ball, harder than in this sport on turf than it is in grass. Maybe one of the few things that you'd like to have grass rather than turf. These turf fields are so much better than they were. Go back, 20 years when they first started coming out. They were slick by this time of night when the dew started settling in. Now it's just beautiful. You walk across the field and it has a feel of grass, even though it's so uniform. So happy that the county was able to see its way clear to put turf fields at every one of our high schools.
Yes.
Patterson Mill, the last one to get their turf field. Got it, last year, I think?
Yes, I think so. I was only fortunate enough to play one game on a turf-lighted field in my entire high school, and these kids get to play every single day. Let's see if she curls in the middle here. No?
Good defense there by Patterson Mill. Inside 38 minutes left in the game.
Central midfield is very good at bringing the ball back. That was an unfortunate head ball. Bringing it back to the defense when they need support.
Mentioned Joe Collins on the beat here tonight, the assistant principal for Fallston. Former basketball coach at Fallston, and he made all the rounds. He went many, many different places, and back here at Fallston, did I say assistant principal?
I think he might be the principal.
He is the principal.
He is the principal, yeah.
I think of Joe as being an assistant principal because he had been for so long. He was at Hartford Tech as a principal, and now he's here as principal. I demoted him there.
Oh, this is a good opportunity.
Yeah,
so he told me that, ironically, here we are for this game. He said he was also at Patterson Mill for 3 or 4 years as well.
Well, he was at Edgewood. He was at Hartford Tech. Patterson Mill, I believe he was at, and here at Fallston, we were joking that it's hard for him to keep a job. They just keep moving him around. Not true at all.
They're fighting over him. They want him.
Joe was just such a great basketball coach. He loved the game of basketball, and we were fortunate to do some of his games going back our 29 years. He told me that he started coaching back in the mid-'90s in basketball, and then went on to be an administrator, was a social studies teacher back in the day. Saw
that was another pullback move, and that was very good one. Now she's put her teammate, one more pass.
Here come the
Huskies.
Huskies.
Could be their first corner. I don't know. Let me see if it's a
Did it go
kick.
off a Fallston player? I think it might have.
Now we'll see how Patterson Mill sets up for this. You already see 4 players off the right here. Right top of the box.
Well, you're right. This is the first corner kick for the Patterson Mill Huskies. Let's see. You can see a number who's going to be taking this ball. Looks like number 6, and that is Ava Wheeler, senior Ava Wheeler. You can see the Fallston defense. You can't see the Patterson Mill offense just beyond the 15-yard line there. There you see them. They're going to crash.
It's a nice high ball.
Good job. That's that young lady again, Ava Lambros, in there to break it up. So Ray, as you mentioned, after not having any offensive surge at all, now Patterson Mill seems to be starting to get that offensive thing going as well. Good job, good defensive job. Does it go off Fallston? No. It went off, let's see. Officials are going to call it. Yeah, it went off Fallston.
Yeah, so that was the call I was expecting, but I couldn't tell for sure from here. That's good refereeing teamwork there. Danny saw it better from across the field, so he overruled.
Ryan Sapp, the other referee we mentioned.
For people that do not know, Don, there's a 3-man system and a 2-man system. In the 3-man system, you have one central midfield referee that goes maybe from 30 to 30, but then the other ones do a sideline from midfield to end line. That's easier in terms of getting the offsides calls and such, but if you have 2 really good officials like these 2, they can do the job just as well.
Hayden Mills, now the sophomore, her first year playing this great game of girls soccer.
This is the first free kick I've seen from either team, but that's kind of a tough distance to get a good quality. Oh, good shot.
Oh, just misses the goal.
Yep.
Boy, that shot came from about 30 yards out.
That was a good strike. I think the goalie deflected it, so we have a corner again.
Yeah, that was close. It looked like goalie Welker was maybe a little bit out of position, and that ball just almost got in the close corner here.
I almost feel like we're going to get a goal eventually off of a corner.
And that was Lambros. Lambros, instead of just striking the corner kick, tapped it over to her teammate.
Yeah, sometimes a short corner kick play, oh, this is tough. Sometimes a short corner kick play can be very good, but Patterson Mill read it completely. They were right there to defend.
So another offensive opportunity missed by Fallston.
Tough situation to get out of defensively, but she did a good job.
Yep, that's Julianne Bujak, another one of the players for Patterson Mill that's just played a great game. It just looks like the Huskies have become much more aggressive to the ball.
Yes, they have. She needs a little help here.
There she is, Lambros. It's like a pest, you know. Who's that number 14? She's like, there's like 5 14s on this team. Seems like she's everywhere.
It's a foul there. Lambros has been in the mix of many fouls. She's drawn some because she's aggressive, and she's given some because she's aggressive, but I like her style.
Yep.
I don't consider either team having anybody that's playing dirty at all. It's been a very clean game.
It has been a very well officiated game and a close game, obviously, with no score. We're almost 9 minutes into this second half. Comes Fallston.
It's a dangerous situation coming free like this.
Got an opening.
She was offsides.
There you are. There's the call. Looked like that she was there right in front of the goal with nobody in front of her, but great call by the officials. She was well offside. That wasn't close.
Yes. I would have kept that ball if I was the midfielder coming through with that, because she still could have gone in a little bit further and shot.
Ray, for folks who are not familiar, offside, tell me just basically what happens. When are they offside?
So you cannot be past the last defender. So if a team...
Unless you have the ball.
Unless you could dribble it past them,
yeah.
But I cannot receive a pass beyond the last defender. That could be just half of your body.
Right.
You know, so that's why you'll see defenders slant. So the back defender will be the one closest to the goal, and the people that are up more will be challenging the defender. So if the right wing's bringing the ball downfield, you'll see your left field defender challenge it, your central defender in the middle, and your right back will drop back more in case there's a cross.
Got a good look at Addison Reeves making that throw in.
One more.
Great interception.
Yeah, she anticipated that. She kind of baited her there, Don. She was like, go ahead, pass it there.
That's Ella Litz we were talking about, the sophomore, number 6, who intercepted that ball. Great play by Litz. Here's Addison Reeves again.
Forwards on Fallston last couple of passes have done a good job coming back to get the ball.
Nice interception, nice clear by...
Oh, good back header.
It was that.
A little bit of body trapping.
That was Julie Thomas, number 8, who made that reverse header, as you described.
So the ball goes from one team's 18 all the way downfield in less than 10 seconds. That's the great thing about soccer.
Inside 30 minutes. 1/4 of the way through the second half. Still, as you see, no score. And we talked about Patterson Mill throughout the entire first half. Probably didn't have the ball in the Fallston defensive zone more than, what, a couple, 3 minutes?
Right.
Now they've been in Fallston's territory, you know, pretty consistently. You see a good look at Leah Reinhardt, the goalie for Fallston. 3rd year. He's just a junior, 40 saves on the season.
So what you saw there, Don, is Fallston was able to get the ball downfield a little bit because the goalie's punt was allowed to bounce. You don't really want the ball to bounce. You want to take it out of the air if you can. It takes a lot of the danger away.
Boy, sticky defense on the part of the Huskies. Every time it looks like Fallston has an open opportunity, you know, there's one of those white shirts there to knock it away.
One thing I like about Lambros' game, Don, is she The old time coaches would say, I do not like a lazy forward, where they lose the ball and they just put their head down and they let them dribble it away. Lambros is relentless. If she even loses the ball slightly, she's defending immediately. And that's what you want as a coach.
So Isla Galloway, number 11, in for Fallston, one of the subs. And Fallston does have a much larger squad, especially available to them without as many injuries. So you know, that could come down to be a factor. Even though it's not warm, it's a little humid, perhaps. Maybe the temperature's in the 70s with humidity being a bit of an issue.
A little bit of a turnover there, Don, to give Fallston a chance here. Can they call that? No?
No, they did not call. The Fallston player went down.
That's a good shot.
No, hits the crossbar and does not go in.
Oh,
Wow, that was close. That ball was hit from about, what, 25 yards out?
At least, Don.
I didn't see who hit it, but obviously Welker had no chance of being able to knock it down.
No.
Even the goalie, a big, tall goalie, is going to have trouble knocking that one down. Here's a replay you'll see. We didn't see the ball hit the crossbar, but trust me, it had every chance of going in. It looked like it was going to sink.
Yep.
Here we go. We'll be able to see it here. Look how far that ball, and boom, it goes off.
That's a good thing it didn't come back down off the goalie, too.
Could have hit her back and gone in. That was the first chance we've seen, or let's say the best chance of either team scoring. Gosh, I didn't see who hit that ball either, Ray, but that was a great shot from, gosh, it was like from the 25-yard line, which made it a 35-yard punt. She's onside. Here she comes.
She needs to wait for some numbers here.
Taken away by Fallston. That pass just a little tall.
Yeah, the Patterson coaches would tell the forwards to hold the ball slightly longer. This is very dangerous.
Side of the net.
See, what's happening is Patterson Mill is getting the ball on these outlet passes, and they're not in a numbers advantage. So you either have to slow the ball down and wait for support behind you, or dribble diagonally towards a teammate so you can find their feet.
Abby Wysong kicking it out. Abby just a sophomore, number 16. Another one of those great defenders that Patterson Mill has used to thwart Fallston all night long.
It's a nice move. See if she has a left foot. Nope.
Good clear. A great defense by Woldersick.
It's a good no call by Danny Vest.
13, Woldersick, the freshman. This young lady who's playing tremendous soccer.
It's a good opportunity. Let's see how quickly the other girl comes up and helps her. Oops.
That's Bujak, number 9.
Yep.
Just goes out of play, and so Fallston will get the ball. Want to throw in.
Good effort coming back for that ball, and then fouled. Oh.
Take away by Patterson Mill.
There she goes again.
And there's, that young lady.
She's
Miss Lambros.
Will win the ball.
The good thing about Lambros is she only takes the ball away, but she reverses it and puts her team in an offensive situation.
Well, for those that are a little bit older that remember the great Mia Hamm, people think she was just a great goal scorer, but she was feisty as can be. She fought back for that ball every play, and it's kind of the way style Lambros is playing.
I'm sure she will appreciate being compared to Mia Hamm.
She's basically,
if she can read the history book about Mia Hamm. Mrs. Garcia Parra, we would like to say.
Yes, she's she's definitely showing that she's not giving up on any ball.
Right. Out of play it goes. It'll be Patterson Mill ball. We're now past the 24-minute mark. Patterson Mill has been involved in close games all year long.
Yeah.
Losing 2 of them especially.
Oh, need a deflection?
Good job. Good coming out there by Welker. Great thing about Kate Welker is she doesn't lay back.
No.
He who hesitates is lost, and this Kate Welker doesn't hesitate. She has 56 saves on the year, does Kate Welker. And what that means, she's been under pressure for much of the year.
That was a good move here. See if she can get to the left wing. I'd serve it out there. She's open.
Oh, nice fake. Open for the shot.
Let's see if anybody gets in there in the middle. They need somebody to serve it to down the middle, Don. That's what they're looking for.
And just like that, Fallston thwarts that offensive effort. You could
Switch
see that the Patterson Mill was all ready to, load up and make a shot, but they just couldn't get the right angle.
Nice ball. She can get this. Good shielding off by the defender. Oh, nice save by Fallston.
Battling in front of the net. Boy, that's a great, great job.
I think it's a throw-in just beyond the corner kick mark.
Abby Wysong, again, the sophomore back there on defense, number 16.
One thing we haven't seen for either team, Don, is somebody that has a real long throw-in. It's more common in boys soccer, but you do see it in girls soccer every once in a while.
This is Grace Daly in the ball game now, not one of the starters, getting ready to make the throw in. No, you're right. Sometimes we've seen a throw in go all the way across and to be in front of the goal mouth.
I actually had coached a couple of players that could do those amazingly crazy flip throws.
Yeah, where you flip, put the ball down and flip right over the ball.
Yeah, you basically doing a handspring front flip and then getting that pendulum effect.
And you lose perspective because you can't see where you're throwing, but you certainly can get some strength behind it. Wysong again, breaking it up.
Good service.
That was a nice play.
So let's see if she can get past her here. No, that's a great defensive job.
It was Sarah Mueller, number 11, who had the opportunity for Patterson Mill.
Number 3,
Addison Reese there on the defense. That was a great job sticking to that play.
Kelsey Price getting set to throw it in. Kelsey, one of the seniors on this team for Patterson Mill. There's a nice long throw. Battling.
There it is. See if she can serve
Nice center.
one.
Getting a shot off. High on and going up to making the save was Reinhardt. That ball threatened to get over her head. And Reinhardt is a little taller than is Welker, and she used that height that time. Fallston open. Oh, good defensive play. Yeah, we're already looking at a possible overtime. I know, we have 19 minutes left, more than 19 minutes, but at this point with 0-0 the score. Obviously one goal, could decide the game. It just looks like that's what we're coming down to.
Well, this would be a heartbreak loss for either team at this point. When we've talked before about would you like to lose big or lose close.
Yeah.
And you'd rather be in the game, but right now Patterson Mill feels like we've earned at least a tie, if not a chance to win. And Fallston would obviously be disappointed with having more possession and not getting a win.
Well, you're talking about the mental side of the game. Fallston has given its best shot, and they've come away with nothing so far. And as we said, Patterson Mill, which was playing strictly defense early in the game, now they've had some opportunities. So I think what we're seeing is we're seeing them grow up on the field.
Yes.
Even though they're coming in with a 1-4 record.
This is a good chance, no?
With nice footwork. Good job by Bujak. Number 9 for Patterson Mill. Julianne Bujak, a junior. Mike Parker, the great coach for Patterson Mill, again taking his team to 4 state finals and winning 1.
It's a tough position here. Let's see if she can get upfield. She did. Now you see who wins downfield. The good job the forwards are doing and midfielders coming back to the ball. Then they try to switch fields like they just did. For those who don't understand, when you have crowded side of the field, you want to switch it to the opposite field where the numbers are lower and there's more open space. Here's a good ball. Oh, that's a high pop up there.
It is that. Patterson Mill has just been there. Every time that Fallston has had a chance, it seems like somebody from Patterson Mill steps up and makes the play.
For the Huskies, number 19, Tabitha
Yeah, we need,
Macy.
we talked about this in some of the other sports we've done, Don.
Farrell.
Will it be the skill play that makes a difference, or will it be an error and a mistake, a turnover? As you said, you mistrap one ball around the goal, a deflection. I've seen soccer games come down to one bad bounce and somebody pounces on the ball.
Yeah. Abby Weissong again with another great clear. And just as sophomore, this Weissong is really going to be a star in the league. Addison Rees, a sophomore, with the throw in. Ball goes back to Patterson Mill. Boston 4-1-0 coming in. 1-5 actually. I think we said 1-4 for Patterson Mill. They've lost to Rising Sun, Delaney, and Arundel. North Hartford and Towson. They defeated Northeast of Cecil County. Lost in the last 5 seconds to North Hartford last week.
I'll tell you what's really impressive, Don, about all this is Patterson Mill's back line is freshman, sophomore, junior.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they've given up some goals, but they're growing up. They're growing on the field. This could be a good pass here.
Just a little bit long. Maybe hit it harder than she really wanted to.
She was serving a bouncing ball, which makes it harder to get the ball down. But yeah, if this back row for Patterson Mill can continue to gel, they're going to be tough to score on as the year goes on.
Yeah. And with Welker, the senior goalie back there, making the plays. Just impressed with her. She's one of those feisty little people that, you know, she's not going to give up. She's going to try her very, very best, and she inspires the rest of her team.
Definitely.
Trying to turn it, keep it in play unsuccessfully.
So much tougher to do than people realize. Ball rolling away from you, you have to turn 270 degrees just to put a ball up the field. Nice steal. Good patience. Well, she needs somebody to serve it to. See what happened there, Don, is the same player that dropped the ball found a hole for the defender to put it right back to her.
Lambros going back to get the ball. Just kicks it out of play. Makes Patterson Mill regroup and gets her team a chance to get back on defense. Inside 15 minutes left in the regulation game. Halfway, more than halfway through the second half. Had one ball go off the crossbar. There's a shot. Oh, then now that's a bit high.
Hit the goalpost.
Yeah, hit the goalpost, hit the football goalpost for Patterson Mill. So Fallston hit the crossbar. This time Patterson Mill hits the goalpost.
That's a very dangerous situation, Don, and takes good officiating too. I've been a part of both sides of the equation where a hard shot quickly hits the top crossbar, goes up, hits the goalpost, and comes down, and if the referee doesn't see it and the ball continues to play, lost the regional championship with that one.
Wow, well, and that, of course, is out of play if it hits the football goalpost.
Yes.
Football crossbar. Obviously, we have multi-purpose fields, so we don't have a soccer field or a football field, but they do a great job of being able to. And that's the other thing about turf fields. That you have a grass field, and by this time of the year, it's worn out. There's no grass. It rains here, and the next day you can play on it. And that's what makes the turf field so much more valuable.
Well, and back to that point about tough calls for the refs and stuff, you always teach your players, play to the whistle. And you have to. You can't assume something, you have to play to the whistle. How many times have we seen a ball in football and people think the play's over and they don't pick it up? It's still a loose ball. Oh, slight tough ball there.
Looking for an opening. Fallston gets around.
She should be able to get off a good shot here.
Hits the crossbar again. Welker was able to deflect it up to the crossbar. You can just see the look on her face. She is so determined. You know, hey.
That's a tough ball, Don. People don't realize a hard-struck ball like that. They think, okay, she got both hands on it. But that ball moved a little bit as it was approaching her.
And plus, it's getting a little dew feel now. That ball gets slicker.
This is a good ball if it's in play. No, too strong.
Didn't get in play.
Actually, it was actually stronger than I thought it was going to be, too. I like the initial height of it, but too much leg that time.
Yeah, Miss Welker made a great save there. Hit the ball, knocked it up, hit the goalpost again, or the crossbar, and it came back down. So that's 2 chances now that Fallston's had where they've hit the goalpost, the crossbar above the net.
That's a good strike.
And there's the goal. There's the goal that we've been waiting for. Fallston was able to hit it from about, 20 yards out?
Yeah, let's see who that was.
Boy, that ball was struck. Here's the replay you'll be able to see. Fallston finally breaks through at 12:02 left in the game. You'll see this ball hit here.
For Patterson Mill, number 8, Julie Thomas.
And there's the goal.
Juliet Bujak.
Good job by number 11. That's Isla Galloway, junior for Fallston, who makes that goal. Shot it from about the, 15, 18-yard line, making it about a 28 to 30-yard shot.
That shows you Fallston's depth, Don, because I didn't even have her in the starting lineup.
She's not, no.
And she comes in there and contributes like that.
That ball was so well struck, no chance at all for goalie Welker to make the play. You may have seen Welker barking at her teammates saying, hey, don't get down. That's just one goal, and we've got 11 minutes left in this game.
Yes.
But that's what you want from your senior leadership.
Well, that was just a cleared ball that was won by an aggressive midfielder, and she had a cannon of a foot. I mean,
I know, Ray, you as a coach, you teach your player to keep your head over the ball. Right. That's the one that you could easily get under and hit it, up over the net. But she struck it high enough that Welker couldn't get it, but low enough to get in the net. 1-0 our score.
I don't think I can hit the ball that hard anymore, Don.
Yeah. I never could, but I was impressed. You said not one of the starters, Galloway, but she's been playing quite a bit here tonight.
Well, as you know, I coached many years, and there were times when I had players like that could start somewhere else in the field.
Mm-hmm.
But I wanted to have depth in that if she's a midfielder at midfield, because that's where you sub the most. So sometimes you can be in the top 10, 11 players and still not start because you're filling an important role.
It's a team game, and you have to play the role that best suits the team and leads you to a victory.
Is she over? No. She needs to poke that ball away. That's a good job shielding the ball off there. And she needs some sort of support to get that ball to.
It's Bujak again, number 9.
She's a junior. She's very strong player. That's a good service.
Can they get a foot on it? No.
Uh-oh. Don,
oh,
that was
just
a nice
wide.
Play. Nice play.
Was that Bujak that hit it from that side?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. But that was a great settle in the middle and put that ball out there to her.
The ball was the closest that Patterson Mill has had to score. Ray, I was going to ask you, you're down 1-0. If you're Patterson Mill, now are you heartbroken? Are you just broken? Or does it double your initiative to try to get back?
They have experienced coaches, and right now they're spending their time keeping them up. And this is where you may see the coach try to take away that getting down by talking strategy. This is where they should probably make a strategic lineup change. So they may have to drop one midfielder or defender and push somebody else up in the attack more. And that's the gamble. When you do that, you're risking giving up another goal
Yeah.
or scoring a goal.
Yeah.
You have to have a risk reward. That's another good shot.
And that's another goal. Boy, another goal hit from way out there, about the 15-yard line, making it a 25-yard goal. Here's the replay. We'll see who was able to make that shot. Again, a one-timer. No passing. That goal at 9:05. Here's the replay. And again, it's over Welker's head. She had no chance of making the. Still trying to see who hit the ball.
I saw it, but they couldn't see the number, Don.
Yeah, we'll try to get that for you here before we go off air. It is now 2-0 as Fallston has scored twice in the last 3 minutes. There have been no goals at all for the first 28 minutes of this half.
This is a nice give and go. She can get the shot off.
Now you're down 2-0. You've got to score one goal before, you know, you can actually have a chance. So Patterson Mill has to score quickly inside the
she gets
9
inspired,
minutes.
it's in trouble. Nice chip.
Good
Just
defensive job to come back and harass that shooter. Another chance that Fallston almost had a third goal.
So, Don, we go 70 minutes with nobody able to hit 2 great strikes, and then we have 2 great strikes within 2.5 minutes.
Yeah. And that is the name of this game. That, and if you're Patterson Mill, it's sort of what's happened to you all year long. You know, you played hard, played well. Wysong looks like she's a little bit gimpy there as she struck that ball. Here come the Huskies trying to get back into the game. Still plenty of time, 7 minutes
One more
and 50
pass
seconds.
over the other side.
That's Bujak again with the ball. Bujak looking to try
to your point, somebody's going to just start taking a shot.
Yeah.
You can't wait for the perfect shot at some point.
Inside, 8 minutes left in the game. The game was scoreless until 12 minutes and 2 seconds left in the contest when Galloway made the goal. And then at 9:05, the second goal. Here come the Cougars again.
Push there. So this is when you're going to probably see
Entering the
Fallston
game for the Cougars, number 21,
try to do a little extra subbing and possess the ball a little bit more. Get rid of this last 6.5 minutes on the clock. I've only seen each team only subbing 2 to 4 subs in most of the game.
Yeah, it's been a very well played game by both sides.
There's a solid throw in. Probably gonna be a Fallston throw in here.
Clock continuing to tick. We're down to the 6-minute mark.
The underrated job of the ball boys and the ball girls on the sideline, hustling to get the ball back in quick.
Yeah.
In a close game, that's very important. They're like, give me the ball, I need to throw it in.
And we saw the pregame introductions where each of the young ladies was accompanied by a rec player.
Yeah, I love that.
Kind of builds that bond between the rec teams, and they're the feeder teams that are going to be, you know, the stars here on the field in 2 or 3 or 4 years.
Got a great feeder system here in Fallston.
In for the Cougars, number 7.
Yeah, really do. You know, as Emerton, I think is a great feeder. You talked about rec programs that feed 4 or 5 different schools, Emerton being one.
Right.
Patterson Mill has, you know, people from there, Bel Air, Fallston as well.
Take down there.
Collision, is that Miss Lambros involved again?
No, I think she is on the right side there, unless that's her on this side now.
Yeah, you're right, that was not Miss Lambros.
Number 5.
Yeah, it's number 5 instead. Yeah, that's Abby Richard, the junior. really want to get that second goal score for you, and we're going to do our best before we go off the air to try to get that. It was almost an identical shot from a different angle, but it was the same, one time just hit the ball so solidly, and Welker had just absolutely no chance.
Good ball. Let's see if she can cut it back.
Good defensive play. It's Wysong again.
Handball, I think.
Yeah, it didn't get called. It looked like it might have been a handball.
Oops, she's in trouble, but oh my gosh, what a good job getting to there.
Ava Wheeler, number 6, with a defensive play by Patterson Mill.
Good transition here. Now we need to see if they can get the ball to
inside 4 minutes. We talked about time not being an issue. It really is now. To score 2 goals within 4 minutes, it's going to be difficult.
There's one more pass. Oops. Good step up on the defense.
Clock ticking away at 3 minutes and 30 seconds left. Here comes a chance.
Good cut back against the green there. Good ball.
Open. Can she make it? Bujak trying to turn.
Back. Oh, she just cut it back a tad too long there, Don.
Bujak looking to try to hit it right-footed, then trying to hit it left-footed, and good defense on the part of Fallston. There you see the clock ticking away at 3 minutes. That brand new scoreboard just installed especially for us. They heard we were coming and they installed it. That's not true, but it sounds good.
I know Chris Rivers is going to tell me no, but I'm going to tell him, yes, Chris, you did.
Oh.
This is a must-need opportunity here. You don't have time for 3 more possessions.
Ava Wheeler.
Well, that's an interesting play. They went away from the goal line and then they go back. It's up in the air.
Good job by Fallston to defend that.
That's a great trap right there. Took that ball out of the air.
Yeah, that was Sarah Ferrari.
Don't think she's quite quick enough to get to that one. It was a good give and go.
Sarah, one of the sophomores on this team, number 7. 2 goals on the year. Sarah's already in her 2nd year of playing varsity as a sophomore. Inside 2 minutes now, and it really gets real tough for Patterson Mill at this point. You've got to get a quick goal and then, get fortunate enough to get a second one.
They call the second goal the insurance goal, Don. That's what it's so important for. I've coached way too many and played way too many games where you are up 1-0 and you just can't quite get that second goal, and before you know it, the other team puts one in and ties it.
Minute 25 and counting left in the game. For all intents and purposes, it looks like Fallston has survived this really stout effort by Patterson Mill. We'll give the Cougars all the credit in the world. They are a team to be reckoned with in the 1A division. They played a very tough schedule, as Patterson Mill has. Inside a minute now. Cougars look like they're going to be going 5-1. They only lost the first game of the year against Hereford. Patterson Mill will fall to 1-6. Ray, you mentioned that with the new format where all the teams go to the playoffs. Again, the idea is to get your team healthy.
Yes.
Be in position to be physically and mentally ready.
In for the Cougars, number 12.
And usually for Harford County teams, some of their toughest competition is within their own county in the regions. So, with Patterson Mill and Fallston being in the same level, we've seen it many years for Bel Air and Z Milton Wright, boys soccer and 3A. So right now, these teams will probably see each other again in the playoffs.
Yeah. 35 seconds left and counting. Might ask the folks in the truck if maybe they saw who made that second goal, because we're about 80 yards away from the score table. So we're not able to tell you. There's another chance. And another goal. That goal scored with 15 seconds left.
Scoring for the Cougars.
You mentioned about that rolling ball being a very dangerous one.
Galloway.
You'll be able to see who's able to make this. It looks like Galloway is the one who scores that goal. Yep, it is number 11, Galloway, and she scores her second goal of the game, having not started the game at all. 15 seconds to go. She scored that first goal, you may remember, and now scores with 15 seconds left to make it 3-0. You know, you're going to look at this final score if you didn't see the game, and you're going to say, well, hey, Fallston, it was one-sided. They, dominated the game, but we know, having watched the game, it was a very close match all the way until Fallston scored twice within a 2.5-minute period, and then added that insurance and that sort of icing on the cake, if you will, with 15 seconds to go. Ray, a interesting, competitive game between two powerhouses in the 1A division.
Yes.
And as you said, two teams that may well meet again in the playoffs, come end of October.
Well, if I'm Patterson Mill, what I'm taking from this is this game was 0-0. Hold on, we'll hear the scores.
Yeah, I think Tom Dixon. I'm sorry, I was trying to listen for that name.
Ellie Agello.
Thank you.
Number 2.
Ellie Agello. So
Yes.
Ellie Agello gets that second goal.
So as I was saying, Don, I mean, if you're Patterson Mill, you were tied 0-0 with approximately 12 minutes to go in the game.
Yeah.
So if you meet Fallston in the regional playoffs, you got to have the confidence to know that we were in the game.
And the fact that hopefully these 4 players that were out injured, that they'll be back and healthy, and the younger players will develop. But again, take nothing away from Fallston. This team is a team to be reckoned with. They played hard all night. They dominated the game. They had a couple balls hit the crossbar, looked like they were going to go in. And then finally, they struck 2 balls from way out, one by Galloway, the other by Agello. And then with 15 seconds left, Galloway got her second goal of the game, kind of one of those little rollers that you talked about where she snuck it in the low corner.
Well, that's pretty, it shows some pretty good skills, because when she needed to do the power shot and hit it in the upper part of the goal, she did. When she needed to put the low ball by the goalie because she had a good angle on her, she did. But I'll tell you what, I would say Fallston is probably going to be one of the favorites in the 1A state playoffs again, and Patterson Mill could be a player.
Yeah, been great fun. David Wren?
The second goal was Ellie,
Ellie
number 2.
Agello, yeah, thank you, David.
I came all the way over to tell you.
I appreciate that. David Wren came from his
Thank
spot
you.
over at the score table, and it was Ellie Agello. Thank you so much.
So, Don, what do you think about both goalkeepers? I think they were both outstanding.
I thought they were. Of course, Reinhardt wasn't tested nearly as much as Welker was, but Welker made all the plays that she had a chance to make.
Yes.
The ones that were too high, I mean, you'd have had to have a trampoline or something to go up and knock those down. So, yeah, I thought she was very, very impressive, as a senior should be, a senior leader. So our final score here, 3-0. 2 goals by Ava Galloway, 1 goal by Ellie Agello. And those are the 3 goals for Fallston. They score them all 3 in the second half. Fallston goes to 5-1, now 1-6 for Patterson Mill. That is the game here tonight from Fallston. Ray Ruse, another great job. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We thank you all for tuning in. Hope you've enjoyed it. Stay tuned all year long for the Hartford Sports Showcase on Hartford TV. I'm Don Morrison. My partner, Ray Ruse. Good night, everyone.